Hello and welcome back to Nerd News. Today we have a new Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG exclusive set coming, Maze of Memories, and we got a big TCG exclusive archetype coming out of this one. The Pokemon Company also put out a statement regarding Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and they sold 10 million copies in 3 days. Let's get started. First up, we have the Pokemon Company and their memo, which you can see here. They sold 10 million copies over 3 days worldwide. This is the highest number ever for global and domestic sales in the first 3 days after release of software for all Nintendo games, including Switch. So for any Nintendo game ever, this is the highest 3-day sales record. This might be the highest 3-day sales record of any game ever, to be honest, but 10 million units in 3 days is incredible. For just over 4 million units in Japan alone is insane. That's a lot of sales. In 3 days, that is a lot of sales. Especially considering how janky the game is. Not going to get too much into it, mostly because I want to do a whole video just on the games for Scarlet and Violet. We're going to try to do that for this coming weekend. But 10 million units in 3 days is fantastic sales. They are very good games. They are very fun games, so I can see why they're selling so well. Pokemon continues to sell well. I don't know what people expected. I guess this is obviously this is record breaking, so people probably didn't expect this, but I think a 7 million was an easy guess, so 10 million isn't that far off, but this is still good news. And next up we have Masahiro Sakurai, and on his YouTube channel, in a video discussing something, he mentioned Kid Icarus being ported to the Switch, sort of. As you can see here, this is a clip taken directly from the video. It sure would be nice to play Kid Icarus Uprising on a home console. I wonder if someone out there will ever port it, and he given a little smile here. Sakurai is known to tease things, although I don't think he would tease an entire game from Nintendo. It can go either way. Either he's teasing a game and this Nintendo knows he's teasing the game and it's just, this is the initial advertise for the game, even though it's not officially being advertised. This is just kind of putting the idea in people's heads. Or there's absolutely no game being worked on. He knows nothing about any game being worked on, and this is nothing. I would like to see Kid Icarus ported to the Switch, mostly because it's terrible on the 3DS. The controls on it are just god-awful. So I would love to see it ported just because they would probably do a lot better. And it's not a bad game. It's just really, really bad on the 3DS. If the controls were better, which they would be on the Switch, I feel like it would work fine. And next up we have Valkie 64, and this is an indie game that launched over the weekend on Steam, and it's like $6 or $5 on Steam, so it's a very cheap game. But as you can probably tell by the name, it's very reminiscent of the 64 style action-adventure games like Zelda, namely Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. It looks like it takes a little bit more from Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, but reading about it, non-linear progression and stuff like that tells me a little bit more towards Majora's Mask, where you can kind of do a lot more stuff that you want to do just randomly. Obviously, the dungeons in that game are pretty linear, but other than that, you can kind of just do what you want. Not important. Anyway, the game looks really good. The trailer was good. It definitely has that 64 feel, and the reviews on Steam seem to suggest that it's nothing groundbreaking, but just fun, classic 64 style game. And I don't know, it looked really interesting to me, and for $5, I think it's worth picking up. I want to give it a shot. We'll see. I've never really bought a game off Steam. I don't really play games on my computer. I kind of wish this was coming to the Switch. That might be a little bit much to ask for a $5 indie game, though. But looks really good. Recommend picking it up. See if you like it. I'm a big fan of classic 64 games, and this just, plucks right at that. Also, it's nice to not get indie games that are always in the 8-bit or 16-bit art style. It's nice that we kind of moved on into the 64 era, because I think the 64 era art style is really well done too, just, in a different way. I know it looks kind of janky, but it's janky in a fun, nostalgic way. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just really like the 64. I don't know. And next up, we have our first trailer for Kaleidoscope. This is coming to Netflix on January 1st, and It looked really good. This isn't the type of movie I would usually talk about on here, but it has a really weird progression to the story where the series allows audiences to watch episodes in any order, and the order they watch the series will affect their viewpoint. So there's, I believe, 8 episodes, I think it says, and you can watch them in any order, and how you watch them will give you a different understanding of the story, or maybe just a different story altogether. Obviously, the overarching story will probably be roughly the same, but you'll get a different, perspective and obviously a different understanding of what's going on. It seems really cool. If nothing else, it's just an interesting idea. Giancarlo Esposito is starring in it, along with Paz Vega and Tati Gabriella. Again, coming out January 1st. This looks really good. It's not usually the kind of thing I would bring up for this, but it looked really interesting, and the trailer looks really good for it. And Giancarlo Esposito is a fantastic actor, so I actually really want to see this. This looks good, and only 8 episodes. And watching it anywhere, it's just really it's a really interesting idea. It's something that I think streaming, and especially these putting all the episodes out at once, kind of dumping of the series, that's something that they can lean into. Obviously, not every series can do something like this, but I think this is using the Netflix format in a really interesting way, and that's not something we've seen yet. And next up in more movie news, we have Bambi getting a horror movie being made by the same people who are making the Winnie the Pooh movie, Blood and Honey. Starting in January, they will be beginning production on a Bambi movie that will follow Bambi on a murderous rampage after his mother gets killed. Spoilers if you haven't seen Bambi, the mother dies, I guess. But it's going to send Bambi onto a murderous raid. I don't know how I feel about this one. I do think that the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey looks really good. I think that is interesting and looks, like they're doing something more unique with the story. Obviously, turning kids' cartoons into horror movies is a little overdone, but I think the Winnie the Pooh one is an interesting take on it. It's about them being abandoned and stuff, so I think that's a little bit more interesting. In this case, this seems kind of weird. Like, why would a deer go on a murderous rampage? I don't know. This one I think I want to see more from. Obviously, they haven't even begun making the movie yet, so I'm not going to judge it now, but it's an interesting idea to make Bambi into a horror movie of all movies. I hope he kills the hunter, though. That would be great. Getting to see Bambi just, cave the hunter's skull in would be really, really cool. I would like that. I would definitely watch that. And next up from ManaMoon, we have these adorable Melfi dice. I don't know when or for what they're going to be available, but these are adorable, and I will find out what these are in and buy it, because look at these. They're so cute. They even got the little Melfi seal on there. Basically all of them on here. Melfi Kitty, Melfi Puppy, Rabby, the seal. These are adorable. These are super cute. I really like this. Big fan of the Melfi archetype, and ManaMoon always puts out really good stuff. They did just have an Albaz lure, or Abyss lure, whatever it's called, whole collection come out over the weekend, but I'm pretty sure it's sold out now, so I don't really want to show that one off because I think it's gone already. But they always make really good stuff, and these dice are adorable and incredible, and I want them very much. Definitely gonna have to look into more on when these are coming out and pay attention to that, but I'll try to keep you posted if it happens. And in our final news today, we have Maze of Memories coming from the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG department. So this is a reprint set, but it's going to have a TCG exclusive archetype to it, and that appears to be Gate Guardian support. Finally, we're getting Gate Guardian support. We've waited 25 years for this. This is phenomenal. It could be the worst support ever, and it would still be worth it because it's the Gate Guardian. No matter what they do, it's going to be better than Gate Guardian has ever been because the cards are terrible. But everyone likes Gate Guardian. This is really, really cool. And they're propping it up with already announced really, really strong reprints and imports. Legendary Swordsman, Blackluster Soldier getting brought over as an import. We have Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon as an import. Duel Academy as an import. But we also have Baron de Fleur as a reprint. That was immediately announced. That's the big reprint for the set, but it's not the only big reprint for the set. I think it's easiest to show on this one, but if you look kind of right behind where it says Maze here, you can kind of make out Guardian Chimera, which I believe was a TCG exclusive, but it's a fusion monster that was very expensive out of Dawn of Majesty, I think. So that's really good. We definitely needed a reprint of this. This is like the expensive card in the branded Despia deck. So that's another really strong reprint. I mean, between Brown to Floor being like $120, and Guardian Chimera being like a $60 to $70 card. Last I checked, I think it's gone down, but the card was over $50 for a long time. So between those two, we already have a pretty solid reprint lineup. But we also can see some other reprints of just some more mid-range cards, which are always good. We got the Rika rank 8 on the front here. We have Wind Up Kitten on the front here, which this card I don't think has ever had a reprint. We have Spellbook of Fate here. We have some other stuff. I want to say that behind the Blackluster Soldier here, this is Invocation. It kind of looks like Invocation to me, but I could be wrong. And then as you can see, the Gate Guardian support. So we have the front one here. Nice front and center, real big on the pack. We're going to assume that this is a fusion monster of the 3 based on the set description for it. That's like a fusion Gate Guardian, but on the other image, this one that shows the box art, we still see that initial, the big 3-piece Gate Guardian, but there's also a new art for Labyrinth Tank, which means probably Labyrinth Tank Retrain. Hopefully a main deck really cool Labyrinth Tank Retrain, because Labyrinth Tank is a really cool card that just was never going to see play because it needs 2 specific fusions, and neither one of them are good. I mean, Cannon Soldier's gimmicky, but neither one of them are good. So this is really interesting. I really like Labyrinth Tank, so I'm really happy to see that getting a retrain. But also, we have Wall Shadow over here, and that's another one that is getting a retrain. We're going to assume it's Wall Shadow just by the way it's lunging out. Could be Shadow Ghoul. Who knows what these cards are going to do, but they look really cool, and this is something I know I've wanted for a long time. I'm sure lots of other people have wanted for a long time. Gate Guardian is one of the most requested retrain or archetype developments that people have wanted. It's just really weird that it hasn't gotten one to this point, considering all the DM era support we've gotten over the years. To have never gotten Gate Guardian seems kind of weird. So really excited for this, and I'm sure lots of other people are. Now we just need that Soggy the Dark Clown retrain. Retrain Soggy the Dark Clown. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but make Clown Control a real good deck, and then we can end Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be cancelled. We can move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! 2. Thanks for watching. That's all the news for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let me know what you think of the new Maze of Memories set. Do you think we're going to get a decent deck out of the Gate Guardian stuff? Do you think the Gate Guardians are going to be absolute awful and terrible and a waste of set space? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll be back tomorrow with more nerd news.